Hey everyone. It's amazing how much technology runs our healthcare these days, right? So today we're going to do a deep dive into medical record storage and PACS archiving. It's a far cry from those giant rooms of file cabinets they used to have.
Oh yeah, definitely a whole different world now.
Right.
Now it's all about PACS, picture archiving and communication systems. Basically like a digital library for all those x-rays and scans and medical images, but even though it's all digital, now it comes with like a whole bunch of new challenges too.
Yeah, I bet. It's not just like hitting save on a file, right? I mean, think about how much data a hospital generates every single day. It's got to be tons.
Oh, it is. Thousands of patients every month generating just mountains of data, and it all has to be stored and archived somewhere.
Wow.
And the thing is, it's not just about the volume either. Healthcare organizations have to make sure that all that data stays safe and that they can get to it for years. We're talking maybe even decades.
Oh, wow.
And all while they're dealing with even more data coming in.
Oh, man. So it's like they're trying to build a library that never runs out of space, but also has to be like Fort Knox, totally secure. Must be tough.
You got it. And then on top of all that, you got these ransomware attacks happening more and more. Since back in November 2020, there's been something like a 45% increase in attacks just targeting healthcare.
Seriously.
Yeah, and they can really mess things up. Like a hospital could be completely shut down, unable to do anything, and that puts patients at risk.
That's scary. So not only is there like massive amounts of data, but they have to keep it safe from hackers too. Yikes.
Exactly. And the thing is, these old storage systems, they were never built with this kind of threat in mind. Back then, hospitals weren't dealing with terabytes or petabytes of data like they are now.
Wow, petabytes. Okay, so we've got a pretty big data storage problem on our hands in healthcare. But before we all freak out, let's talk solutions. What options are out there for hospitals dealing with all of this?
Well, let's start with the basics. You've got two main types on-premises solutions, which is basically when the storage is at the hospital itself, and then cloud-based solutions where the data is stored remotely.
Okay, so on-premises is like having your own data center, and the cloud is like renting space online.
Pretty much, yeah.
Got it. So what are the pros and cons of each?
With on-premises, you have more control over your data. Like, you can customize everything how you want it and even use a mix of SAS and SSD drives to make things faster and save some money. But the downside is you need people who know how to run it all, and it can be really expensive to set up.
Yeah, that makes sense. So maybe not the best choice for smaller places that don't have those resources. What about the cloud then? Is that better for them?
Yeah, the cloud can be a really good option pretty much. No matter how big or small you are, you don't have to worry about building anything yourself because the cloud providers, they have these huge data centers that are super secure, and you can easily change how much storage you have, and it can actually be cheaper in the long run.
Okay, so more flexibility and it might save money. That sounds pretty good. But I'm guessing there are downsides too, right? Like what about keeping things private and secure with the cloud?
You're right to be thinking about that. There's always some risk when you're trusting someone else with your data. That's why it's so important to go with a cloud provider who has a really good reputation for security and, follows all the rules.
Okay, so do your research. But what about people who aren't ready to go all in on either one? On premises or the cloud? I mean, is there like a middle ground?
Oh, definitely. A lot of organizations go with something called a hybrid solution where they use a bit of both. So they might keep the most important data or stuff they need to get to quickly on premises and then use the cloud for less urgent things or as a backup.
Ah, like a best of both worlds kind of thing.
Exactly.
That's pretty smart. But man, with so many options out there, it must be tough for hospitals to figure out where to even start. It's like a data jungle.
It can be for sure. And that's where we come in. At Stonefly, we're all about making this whole data management thing a lot simpler for healthcare providers.
Okay, so tell me more about that. What makes us different? What do we do?
Well, we offer all sorts of solutions, on-premises, cloud-based, hybrid, whatever you need. We don't believe in that one-size-fits-all approach because everyone's different and their needs are different.
It's like having a tailor for your data storage needs. Love it. But can you give us an example of some of the solutions?
Yeah, sure. We've got these cutting-edge storage systems that are specifically designed for healthcare. They're super fast and have all sorts of security features built in so you know your data is safe and sound and always there when you need it.
Speed and security, those are definitely priorities. Yeah. But what about integration? Trying to get these new systems to work with what's already in place, that's got to be a headache.
It can be, but all our systems work seamlessly with existing infrastructure and all the major PACS software out there. So it's a really smooth transition. We take care of all the tech stuff so healthcare providers can just focus on taking care of patients.
That's great. But what about compliance? You mentioned HIPAA earlier. That's got to be a big deal, right?
Oh yeah, compliance is super important. Our solutions are built from the ground up to meet HIPAA and all the other industry standards, so you can rest assured that we're handling your data responsibly and securely. And we also have all these tools and services to help you stay on top of all the rules and regulations.
So it's not just about the storage. It's about making sure everything's done right. I like it. For anyone listening who's feeling a little overwhelmed by all this, what's the best way to learn more about what we do?
Easy. Just visit our website, www.stonefly.com, or email us at sales@stonefly.com. We're always happy to answer any questions and find the right solution for you.
Awesome. So even though the challenges are real, there's no need to panic. There are definitely solutions out there, and we are here to help you find the right one.
The important thing is to understand that technology is always changing, right? What works today might not be the best thing tomorrow. That's why we're constantly working on new stuff and coming up with even better solutions.
It's like having a partner in your corner, looking out for you and making sure your data is safe and sound. Okay, so we've talked about the problems hospitals are facing with data storage. Now let's get into the specifics about what we can offer.
One of the things that really sets us apart is that we don't believe in how one-size-fits-all approach. Every healthcare organization is different. Some are big, some are small, they have different budgets.
Totally. It's like trying to find the right shoes. What works for a marathon runner isn't going to work for someone just taking a walk in the park. So how do we figure out the right fit for everyone?
Well, it all starts with really listening to them and understanding what they need. Like for a smaller clinic that doesn't have a big IT team, we might recommend one of our appliances. They're super easy to set up and manage, and they've got all the storage and backup features you need, even if you don't have a tech expert on staff.
Okay, so it's like a data vault that just works right out of the box.
Exact.
Perfect for smaller places. But what about these huge hospital networks that have just mountains of data? Their needs are totally different, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For those guys, we can create a system that's totally customized and can grow as they need it. Think like massive storage arrays, powerful servers, and software that ties it all together. These systems can handle like petabytes of data, no problem.
Wow, so no matter how much data you have, we can handle it. Sounds like we've got all our bases covered. But what about those places that aren't quite ready to move all their data to the cloud? They must be worried about security and who has access to their stuff.
Oh, yeah, we get that. That's why we also offer on-premises solutions that give you total control over your data. You can choose from traditional storage arrays or hyper-converged infrastructure. We even have appliances that are made specifically for medical imaging. It all depends on what you need and how comfortable you are with different technologies.
Okay, so no pressure to go all in on the cloud if you're not ready. But for those who are, what are the big advantages? Why is everyone so excited about the cloud?
Well, it really comes down to how flexible and scalable it is. Like you can easily change how much storage you have whenever you need to without having to buy a bunch of new equipment. Plus, you can get to your data from anywhere as long as you've got internet. So it's great for people who work remotely or if you have multiple locations.
Ah, that makes things so much easier. But let's be honest, the big question mark for most people is security. How do you keep all this sensitive medical information safe when it's floating around in the cloud?
You're 100% right. Security is the top priority. That's why we use the best encryption and access controls and monitoring systems to keep your data safe from hackers and anyone who shouldn't be seeing it. And we only work with the top cloud providers like Microsoft Azure and Amazon AWS. They have some of the best security out there.
So it's like having an army of security guards protecting your data 24/7.
Pretty much.
Okay, that makes me feel better. But what about the cost? Isn't cloud storage supposed to be super expensive?
A lot of people think that, but it's not always true. Yeah, you have to pay for it every month, but it can actually be cheaper than having your own servers and all that, especially when you consider things like maintenance and software licenses and hiring IT people. Plus, we have different pricing plans and you only pay for what you use.
So you're not stuck with a huge bill even if you're not using all the storage. That makes sense. Okay, but what happens if something bad happens, like a natural disaster or, another cyber attack? How do you make sure things keep running and that the data is protected?
That's where disaster recovery comes in. It's essential for any healthcare provider. All our solutions have these really strong backup and recovery features, so you can get your data back super fast if something happens. And we also have these replication services that basically keep a copy of your data somewhere else just in case. So even if your main system crashes, you can still get to your information.
So it's like an insurance policy for your data. You hope you never need it, but it's there if you do.
Yeah.
That's peace of mind for sure. But with all these options, how do people even know where to start? It must be so overwhelming.
It definitely can be, but that's what we're here for. We do these personalized consultations where we figure out exactly what you need, we look at what you're already using, and we come up with a plan that fits your goals and your budget.
So it's like having a data storage expert on call whenever you need them?
Exactly.
That's awesome. But technology is always changing, so how do we keep up and make sure our solutions are always the best and latest?
And for us, it's all about always moving forward. We're constantly doing research and developing new technologies to make our solutions even better and to stay ahead of everyone else. And we also work with all the big tech companies so we can include their newest innovations in our stuff.
So it's not just about building something great today, but about making sure it's still great tomorrow and the day after that.
Right.
That's awesome. Okay, but we've been talking a lot about the technical stuff. What about the people actually using these systems? How do we make sure they're not intimidated by all this?
Well, we believe that technology should be easy to use, not scary. So all our solutions are designed to be super user-friendly, and we also offer training and support to make sure everyone knows how to use them. Our support team is available 24/7, so if you ever have a question or need help, you can just call us.
Now, that's what I call service. You mentioned earlier that we do more than just storage. What else can we help people with?
Oh, yeah, we do all sorts of stuff. We can help you move your data to a new system. We do backup and disaster recovery. We can archive your data and keep it safe for years and years. And we can even help you make sure you're following all the rules and regulations. We can basically be your one-stop shop for everything data management.
That sounds amazing. So many healthcare providers are already so busy, this must be a huge relief. What are some of the biggest challenges you see them facing when it comes to data? What are they most worried about?
Well, besides security and compliance, a lot of them are struggling with how much data there is and how complicated it is, with electronic health records and medical imaging and genomics and all that. It's just exploding. And it's not just about storing it, it's about understanding it, analyzing it, and using it to improve patient care.
Right, data is only useful if you can actually do something with it. So how do we help people unlock the power of all that data?
That's a great question. We're working on solutions that not only store the data, but also help healthcare providers analyze it and find those hidden insights. For example, we're looking at ways to use artificial intelligence and machine learning to identify patterns in patient data that could lead to diagnosing diseases earlier and creating more personalized treatment plans.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like data storage meets detective work. But with all this talk about fancy technology, how do we make sure that everyone can afford it, not just the big hospitals with tons of money?
That's really important to us. We're committed to creating solutions that are affordable and that can grow with you. So even small clinics and hospitals in rural areas can benefit from the latest technology. We have all sorts of pricing plans and financing options, so everyone can find something that works for them.
It's all about making sure everyone has access to the best tools no matter who they are or where they are.
Exactly.
So what are some of the big trends in healthcare data storage that we should be watching? What's coming next?
One of the most exciting things is the move to the cloud. As the technology gets better and security concerns are addressed, more and more healthcare providers are realizing how great it is. It's flexible, it's scalable, and it can save you money.
So the cloud is the future of healthcare data. What else is changing the game?
Well, data security and privacy are becoming more important than ever. With all the cyber attacks and data breaches happening, people are really focused on finding solutions that are super secure and follow all the rules like HIPAA. Things like encryption and access controls are becoming must-haves.
Makes sense. You can't mess around with patient data. What other innovations are you excited about?
I'm really excited about artificial intelligence and machine learning. I think they have the potential to totally transform how we manage healthcare data. We're just starting to figure out what's possible. Imagine using AI to analyze data, automatically spot potential problems, and create custom treatment plans. It's incredible.
That's mind-blowing. AI could be a total game changer for healthcare. Okay, before we get lost in the future, let's bring it back to the present. If someone's listening and they want to learn more about how we can help them, what should they do?
Easy. Just head over to our website, www.stonefly.com, or shoot us an email at sales@stonefly.com. We'd love to answer your questions and help you find the perfect solution.
So whether you're a tiny clinic or a massive hospital network, whether you want on-premises cloud or hybrid, we've got something for you. We're all about giving healthcare providers the tools they need to keep their data safe and secure and focus on what really matters, taking care of patients.
And what's really interesting about this whole thing is that it's not just about managing the data we have right now. It's about being ready for what's coming next.
That's a great point. We've talked about ransomware and big data, but what else is coming down the pipeline? What should healthcare providers be thinking about for the future?
Well, with personal medicine becoming more common and genomics taking off, we're going to see a ton of new data, and it's going to be even more complicated than what we have now. Like, imagine if every patient had their entire genome sequenced.
Oh yeah, that's a huge amount of information. And it's not just the size. Genomic data, it's complex. You need special tools to store it and analyze it.
Wow, so it's like a whole different ball game. How do we even get ready for that?
It all comes back to what we've been talking about. Scalability, security, flexibility. You need systems that can grow as you need them, adapt to all these new types of data, and of course, keep everything super secure. And that's why we're always looking ahead, researching new technologies and developing cutting-edge solutions. So our clients are always one step ahead. So it's not just about buying a bigger hard drive. You need a plan for the future.
Exactly.
And that's where we come in.
We're here to help healthcare organizations figure all this out now and in the future. Because, data, it's really the foundation of modern medicine. And we want to give providers the tools they need to make the most of it.
It's like having someone by your side guiding you through all this, making sure you don't get lost in the data jungle.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into medical record storage and PACS archiving, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
Healthcare is changing fast, and data is at the center of it all. There are definitely challenges, but there are also solutions. By being open to new ideas, making security a top priority, and working with the right technology partners, healthcare organizations can manage their data effectively and use it to really improve patient care.
So it's not just about keeping up. It's about being a leader and shaping the future of healthcare.
Right.
But it's also about the people, right? The people who are using this technology every day.
Absolutely. No matter what their role is in healthcare, everyone needs to understand how important data is and how to manage it. We need to make sure that doctors, nurses, IT professionals, everyone is comfortable working with data.
Data literacy is becoming just as important as medical literacy.
Exactly. The more we understand about data, the better we can use it to help patients and improve medicine as a whole.
So keep learning, keep exploring, and keep asking questions. The future of healthcare depends on it. And if you're ready to take the next step and see how we can help you with medical record storage and PACS archiving,
Just visit our website, www.stonefly.com, or send us an email at sales@stonefly.com. Our team is ready to answer your questions and talk about your specific needs.
we can help you find the right solution, whether you're a small clinic or a large hospital network. On-premises, cloud-based, hybrid, whatever you need. We're committed to providing secure, scalable, and user-friendly data storage and management solutions that let healthcare providers focus on what they do best.
Taking care of patients.
Exactly. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of medical record storage and PACS archiving. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep innovating.
And for all your data storage needs, think Stonefly. Contact us at sales@stonefly.com or visit www.stonefly.com to find out how we can help.
As a wrap, CPAN